Hi, Tarek. We're going to go ahead and review your analytics for all of your different social accounts. And then I have some recommendations for your website as well. So, with that said, average daily viewers on your pins are 12. This is Pinterest we're going to go over first. Average daily impressions is 44. Average monthly viewers is 143. Average monthly people engaged is 4. Now, what's interesting to know about this, the pins that are performing best as we're following people and they're following back are actually repins from other sites. And the reason that this is important is every time we pin something, it's to draw attention back to your social profile. So not everything is going to go and be a link to the scale or the site. It's many times going to be a link back, to whatever content that is relevant and complementary to your product that will hit the most. Now, one thing I am going to say is one thing that needs to be done on the website is confirming the website. So I'm going to give you this code, and this lets you add the logo to the pins that come from your domain. And we're going to go over why that's important too. And then this needs to go into the head section of your profile. So in the code, this is where you need to put this in the head section. So that's something that we're going to put a pin in, and I'm going to send that to you as soon as this is done. And this is again just something that's very, very important, and I'll show you why in just a second. So to go a little bit deeper into your Pinterest, if we go from the last 30 days, because what we're doing is first 30 days that you've paid for covers setting up, but also figuring out what's working as far as posting and who's listening and who's our most likely audience moving forward. So that comes, in these next 30 days, which is something you've already paid for as well, where we're doing the posts and doing the ads and things like that. I don't want to waste ad money or advertising dollars before knowing who and where and why and what platform is going to be really popular for you. So a few things to draw your attention to here, and a few things that we can even talk about using some of your ad budget, I think would be wise on Pinterest. The Facebook ad will automatically go to Instagram the way that I'm going to set it up, but that's just something to look at. So the impressions are actually very, very good. You're getting a lot of eyeballs on your content, and that's really what an impression is. We want to make sure we get as many eyeballs on your content as possible. So now let's talk about users. This is going to drill down into the average monthly viewers, and this continues to climb. So as you can see, when we started, there wasn't a lot of traction here, but this is gaining very steadily in traction as far as engagement and things like this. We'll also tell you where the majority of your traffic is coming from. Majority of your traffic is coming from the United States, and you can see it's coming from larger areas, which is good because that's a good audience to start with. Now, the other thing that's important is this is going to tell us what the people who like your page are also looking at. So this helps us drill down on Pinterest to find content. And then this also helps as far as different brands that they're interacting with, because this gives us a little bit of insight in as much as who needs to be reached out to in the next 30 days to say, hey, will you accept a free product from us in exchange for, a review on your site and on your social media sites as well. Ultimately, what we're trying to do here is get them to craft a blog, not just an Amazon review, but an actual blog that we can utilize moving forward. So that's something to look at. So there are several here that I think are definitely going to be good. Pop Sugar is a great one. Feel Great in 8, Eat by Date, Modern Wellness, The Runner, just different people that we can reach out to in as much as being able to build that brand but get that additional exposure as well. So go over what we've done. We created 8 boards. We've done 243 pins. You've gotten 183 followers on here. And then you have, you're following 663 people. So we are getting quite a bit of great traction with that. One thing I do want to do moving forward is change up kind of the tagline here. I want it to be less numerical and less data driven and a little bit more salesy as far as catching people's attention and eyes as well. Now we'll take a look at your Instagram really quick. Instagram, I have a tool that really drills down and tells us what's important, but on this, you've gotten 229 followers in the last 30 days, and you're following 1,100 accounts. You've got 44 different posts on Pinterest or on Instagram. Now, Instagram is a little bit different in as much as, you know, with Pinterest, you can easily repin things, gain some traction and attention that way. Instagram, not so much. So we're coming up with original content for that. Now, this is what I want to draw your attention to. When we look at your account report, your engagements have been fantastic. You've gotten 608 engagements over the past 30 days. So you're getting approximately 13.8 engagements per post. The reach has been phenomenal. And then your total engagement, as you can see here, it just kind of breaks it down based on what's been pinned. Your engagement percentage is 266.7%. That's fantastic. And then this will drill down and tell us what are the top posts, what are people really responding to that we can continue having a conversation with somebody. So for example, you've got, you know, 50 engagements here where you've got different people liking it and different people commenting on it. That's a great way for us to insert something down the line about the scale as the conversation continues. But it's really just about getting those posts up. So you've got a lot of people who are responding, and you can see their comments, but they're responding a lot in emojis. That's very, very normal. It's very much an Instagram thing, so we're not really worried about that. But this also tells us who is interacting with us the most. So we know, you know, all of these people who are into fitness and nutrition are responding well to it. So again, this really helps us drill down and figure out who needs to be reached out to and how we can do that. And then this also tells us your top day for engagement is Wednesdays and your top hour for engagement is 4 p.m. The problem with Instagram in comparison to, let's say, for example, Pinterest, is you're going to find that when you post a lot on Instagram, there's many times your account will be flagged because you're posting too much, even if it's different content. So with this, we really want to focus on, you know, making sure there's posts scheduled for 4 p.m. every day, but knowing that we're going to get our absolute best traction on Wednesday. So that's when we want to post something that would be more scale related. And this will give you some, you know, top photo filters by engagement. Monday motivation is huge. This is very, very normal as far as traction is concerned, both on Pinterest and on Instagram. Monday motivation is a big, big day for fitness. Very big day for fitness. Weight loss is another great tag, running, diet, and exercise. So this tells us what tags we need to use, what hashtags we need to use as well. And these are different between the photos that we're posting and the videos. So, you know, you see your top video tag, ScaleTelligence is really getting some traction with that. So we like to see that, and that's definitely what we want to do moving forward. Now, with that said, this is just kind of a quick overview of a scorecard. Attached with your report video, as well as the strategy over the next 30 days, you'll see a PowerPoint presentation of this as well that goes over this data just so you have it to keep. Now, let's actually move over here to Twitter. Twitter, Pinterest, and Instagram seem to be your sweet spots. And this is why. So if we look at the last 28 days, okay, you've gotten 9.3 thousand impressions over 24 days. That means 9.3 thousand sets of eyeballs on your content, which is great. Your engagement rate has been phenomenal. Your link clicks, as we're posting things on here where people are going to your site, but they're also liking and commenting on, you know, a lot of the different content that we've put out. So you have 48 link clicks. That's great. That's an average of 2 per day. 4 retweets, people sharing your information. 57 likes on different things that have been posted, and then different replies that we have received as well. So then we drill down a little bit and figure out, what are your top tweets? What are people really responding to? Well, we know by this data that we can look at, you know, celebrating other people, doing workouts, and then also bringing that back to the scale. So that's something that is incredibly important as well. So that's something else I kind of wanted to go over. And then if you look at your audience, this gives you some insights. Who's your audience? And this is telling us, whereas on Pinterest, your audience is more female heavy, about a 70% rate. I expect that on Pinterest because you have more female users as a whole. On Twitter, you have more male users. So this does not surprise me at all to see the 70-30 split in any way, shape, or form. But this also tells us, what are these people into? What are they following? What's important to them? And as you can see, exercise and fitness is way up there. So that's a big, big pull. And then we can also drill down into different countries, where you're getting the most traction. So it looks like kind of what we discussed before, United States, United Kingdom is getting quite a bit of traction, at least for the consumer-based user. England, California, Pennsylvania, again, polarized kind of coast to coast, but in the larger metropolitan areas, there's nothing wrong with that, and that's actually something that I like to see. So that's a good thing. Now let's go over your Facebook. Now on Facebook, over the past 28 days, this shows us what are the actions on the page, what are the page views, what are the page likes, how many people have been reached. So you can see there's 100% reach, and it's actually even more than that because you're reaching more people than like your page. It's not necessarily about getting those page likes or those vanity metrics or those followers that a lot of people think are so important. It's more important to have people engaging with posts. So when we're looking at our percentages here, this is growing, videos are very popular, post engagements are growing, and the reach is growing because of the ad spend that's already been done. And that was exclusive to Facebook from the very beginning when we were able to boost a post. Now, that is, with that said, the only time I'm going to advise boosting a post. 9 times out of 10, when we're boosting something, and a few things I just want to draw your attention to on your page, and there's actually a few things that I need in order to finalize your profile. So one of the things that we did was we went in and we made sure that everything in here was filled out completely, that it was completely tight, that it was, completely done. The only problem is, because I do want to add something to the front of the page, and that is a direct link to purchase the scale. Now we already have this button, and this goes to Amazon. This doesn't go to your website, and it's always gone to Amazon ever since day one when I've set it up. And the reason for that is something I'll go over in just a minute. But when I'm looking at these different things, everything has been filled out completely. Everything's been, really done and complete. So, yeah. So what we would need from you is a phone number for your business. Now, this doesn't have to be your personal phone number. You can set up a Google Voice account to where, any inquiries or anything like that would go direct to that, and then you can check it at your leisure. But I would say definitely what we need to look at is, you're getting that up and running for the page, I think is very, very important. So one thing we'll look at, and one thing that I did do, so like if you go here where it says shop, I even changed the prices. I noticed you had dropped it on Amazon. I think that's a really smart move. I think the way to go with this is we need to create deals and promotions around that price point drop. But I've actually scoured the internet to look and find other sites that are just focused on a scale, not a wide spectrum of products. And what I want to show you is actually your direct competition. And this is why I want to show it to you. So this is your competitor. Okay, so when we're talking about bounce rate to your site and why bounce rate is oftentimes higher or growing, it's because we have approximately 7 seconds to grab someone's attention. That's getting those click-throughs to the site, which is wonderful, but it's what we do after that that keeps their attention, that keeps your bounce rate down. So that is 100% website-based. So I kind of wanted to show you your direct competitor so that you can see what they're doing a little bit differently than what you're doing on yours. So as we kind of talked about, one thing that I think is very powerful is they do have a video that demonstrates how to utilize the product. And then of course they have a call out button where people can buy it directly. Now they have a store set up on their website. You don't necessarily have to do that. It's never a bad idea to add something like that, utilizing WooCommerce or something to that nature. But it's something that, the main points I wanted you to notice was how they have something demonstrable right here, and then their call to action button as well. And just, really, really stunning graphics, but something that really just, pops out as far as drawing attention to the scale. But, making it seem like it's somebody who's using it, like, this is a normal everyday person, finishing up a yoga session, and this is their scale. So it's similar to what you have, and then they have an app that goes with it as well. And then it's just the overall design of the website that I really want to draw your attention to. Now, the other thing that I'm going to suggest to you is potentially adding a press release to your budget over the next 30, 60 days. I think that's smart, because what they're getting on here on their website directly is direct press from these larger sites. So that's a good thing. And then, they've got smart feedback that you can put on a smartwatch. So they're just showing different ways that people can utilize it and why they want it. So, all you're doing here is building a relationship with somebody. But as you can see, they have a ton of content on their site. So they're making it really easy. It doesn't have to be very utilitarian in nature, in as much as just sharing data, statistics, and results. While those are always good, what we're doing here when we're looking at users, or even as we're looking to expand overseas and talk to doctors, nutritionists, things of that nature, keeping it simple, just kind of going on a feature overview, and then very, simple explanations for each element of the app and each element of the scale. So, this is just something to kind of get your creative gears running, to look at, who is your direct competition. And one thing also that I really cannot stress enough, that I know we've talked about, is having a blog to create content. So as you can see here, they've got, a blog. They're getting and soliciting user stories. They're talking about workouts. A lot of the things that we're creating and pushing out on social are things that they're doing here. So if you look at, for example, their Facebook page, one of the reasons that they have, all these likes and all this stuff is they've gotten everything done, but they've got a ton of video, and professionally produced video as well. But they're shooting, a lot of different content, in as much as, where is this taking them? This is taking them back to the blog. This is taking them back to the site every single time, but it's eye-catching. It's something, my fitness goal. So while that has nothing directly to do with the scale, it's, again, complementary, and having that complementary thing. So as you can see here, they've done a lot of video, and then they're linking to content that's on their site, i.e. their blog. So when they're talking about measuring your blood pressure at home, giving you pictures of your heart health, here's a link to the blog, so they can pull that data and get people back, because this is keeping them essentially top of mind. So that's where we would like to build to. But as you can see here, they have a shop section, which is very much like I would like to do on your page, just needing the phone number in order to do that. So, that's something I think is definitely something to grow into. But this is a link I will send you as part of your report as well. And then, you can kind of take a look at it, and maybe this will help springboard some ideas that you can put together in a blog, because I do think that is absolutely vital, for who you are and what you're doing. But also, as you can see here, getting this notoriety in, these different publications, that's something that, we would need to talk about with a press release, and then distributing that press release appropriately. They've also gotten into some larger retailers. Now, I know this is not really the direction you wanted to go into, and it can be very challenging to get in on these real retailers. But Amazon for now, I think, is definitely doable. So if we look at, your Amazon product, for example, I think this all looks really good. There's not a whole lot I would change on here. I think that there's a lot of, really good content, in as much as questions, answers, things of that nature. And then, the customer reviews, which is clearly growing. That's always a good thing. I would say one thing that I would want to discuss moving forward is setting up a giveaway on the Amazon site. I think that's important. And then it's something that we can also talk about in as much as doing a promotion on social with that. So, you know, as we've kind of gone through, we've talked about Pinterest, we've talked about Instagram, we've talked about Facebook, we've talked about Twitter. We've looked directly at your competition just to, you know, be a little bit helpful for you. And, you know, just kind of say, okay, here's our, you know, scale and here's how it compares to, you know, these guys. Here's our app and, you know, things like that, how it compares. So start just kind of thinking in that regard. And then that pretty much, I think, covers it. And then I do have some strategies I'm going to go over at the end of this video that you will be receiving in a PowerPoint, and as much as goals, metrics, things of that nature. Since now we know who we're talking to and who's listening and who's most effective for us to have an online conversation with, we can move forward doing that. So that's pretty much going over a sum up of your analytics. Please let me know what questions you have and have a great day.